All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about. Everything that happened in the blockchain space since our live stream yesterday. The first thing I'm sure that's on everybody's mind is like, hey, what happened with the price action yesterday? Like, why did Ethereum drop down again? Why did Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies too? What's going to happen? Like, is this a bearish indicator for the overall bull market that we're in right now? Like, what do I think about this? All right. So we're going to talk about that. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. Let's see here. Violet McMillan, Robert Benjamin, Vinesh. Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, totally. So let's go ahead and jump into sort of the burning question that I'm sure that is on everybody's mind right now, which is what's going on with ETH price, Bitcoin, just the entire cryptocurrency markets in general. Because it looks like a lot of people are saying, a lot of cryptocurrency doing the similar type thing. We saw a correction yesterday. Is a bull market over? Are we gonna trend higher after this? What are my personal thoughts on this? So as always, it's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell any of your cryptocurrency based on this information. I'm just going to tell you what my personal outlook is. I like to look at the stuff that I'm invested in, tell you how I'm feeling about it. So yeah, let's take a look here. As always, not a big trader, not a big TA guy, but just want to look at big picture stuff here. So I'll go ahead and pull it up. So let's look at ETH here. We'll start off with this. We'll start off with what happened yesterday. So move it to the one-day chart here, or 24 hours. So yeah, we were up here about 1775, and then we saw this pretty big drop down. I mean, not pretty big. It's sharp, okay? Sometimes when you get to this price level, like the dollar amount can seem big, but the percentage is not quite as big as it feels like in terms of loss. Now, it does make a difference because, I mean, I was buying ETH when it was like $100 and $200. So whenever you see like a $100 change, like it's kind of significant for the actual market cap itself. But still, at this current price level, the percentage change is not that crazy. Okay, so similar type of thing was happening with Bitcoin markets. So let's go back here. We'll get Bitcoin from yesterday as well. Can kind of look at the 24-hour chart. All right, we saw this similar type of thing happen here, and then a small bounce downward. So I don't have a big, candlestick chart pull up on TradingView with a bunch of moving averages drawn there. Again, I'm not a big TA guy. I'm just looking at big picture stuff here. So the real question is, do I think that our long-term uptrend has broken downward? I still think we're in a bull market, big picture long-term. Okay, so why do I think that? Well, mostly because I don't see any big indicators to indicate the opposite. All right. So, we've been in this bull market for quite a while now. What are some things that I would think would indicate the end of a bull market? As always, there could be things that could kind of come out of left field that would invalidate this. But what are some things that I would think would indicate that this price was the sort of the big one, so to speak? Well, we talk about a lot about the parabolic blow-off tops that we typically see in bull cycles like this. The activity that we've seen in the past 90 days, this is a significant rise. All right, it's over. We went up 4x in this time period. We're a bit off of that, but it's still not what I would call like a parabolic blow-off top. Okay, especially if you zoom out. I mean, this does look like a parabola forming, but a parabolic blow-off top would be like another 2 to 3x from here. It would just look like a rocket ship, just like a vertical wall. So we didn't form that. That's what makes me think that we haven't hit some crazy long-term top. That is based on a set of assumptions, but that's kind of what I think here. Same thing with the Bitcoin price. I don't see anything in there that would indicate a big parabolic blow off top. Let's see here. Yeah, we see a parabola forming, right? We don't see this just like a gigantic wall or anything like that. The other thing is we can look at some on-chain metrics. Okay. Let me back up. If you look at our Nupal chart, so net unrealized profit loss, like we only kissed the euphoria line before, we never crossed it, and we still, we trended back upward toward it whenever the price kind of made some more headroom, but then we've corrected back down. Okay, so if history will repeat itself, I would expect for us to go into the euphoric territory before we saw some sort of long-term correction. But this, it's really interesting. We're going to see what happens with this bull cycle. I put out a video yesterday talking about like, hey, what's going to happen? They're smart people on both sides of this. They think that we're in a long-term super cycle, that we won't have some massive correction like we did in 2017. But we'll have smaller, gentler corrections. It won't last as long. But there are lots of people who think, no, this time is exactly like the last time, that basically we're in these 4-year cycles. It's going to end with that parabolic blow-off top, just like we did in these other previous cycles. And then we're going to face some sort of long-term correction. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows the future, despite what how confident some people appear. Some of them will be right, but not everybody will. So that's sort of my thoughts on the situation. I think we're still trending higher long term. I don't think the party has ended like yesterday or anything like that. So what's going to happen in the short to midterm? Well, I don't know, to tell you the truth. I'd like to see more volume like coming in to buy up these dips. I don't really see that off the top of my head from just glancing at the metrics that I've been looking at. So who knows how long it's going to take before we have faster rise upward. But honestly, I would like to see things like kind of move less aggressively upward, because that means we can make more headroom in our Nupal chart. It means that the market's healthier. Honestly, like, I think it's really what's best for everybody long term. Because even if you could still have an asset that gain, like if Bitcoin were to gain, or some of these other cryptocurrencies would gain like multiple X's over a year time rather than like a month time, it's still like crazy gains, but they're more sustainable compared to these absolutely parabolic runs in these major cap coins. That would still make room for some of these more parabolic rises on really small cap coins like that. That probably wouldn't go away, but I'd be okay if the larger cap stuff kind of like, grew a little gentler. All right, so let's see if we got some questions in the chat here. Somebody says Ethereum is dead. It's so funny. I love it. So one thing that could be a big catalyst for Ethereum, we'll just wait and see. Of course, it's going to be correlated with the overall market. Like, I doubt that ETH is just going to start like blasting off or something like that if Bitcoin's like trending downward or just like, ranging sideways for a long time. We could see some like movement, right? But it's probably going to still generally follow the market. Just my opinion. But, we keep talking about layer 2s for Ethereum. We're kind of running out of time here in March. We got about a week left. I hope that, I hope that we actually do deliver on time. If they don't, I would think it'd be really soon after that. But we did see some, we're kind of just at the mercy of those teams, right? So I'm mostly communicating the news as public that they have put out. So we'll see what happens. But we did see some teasers rolling around yesterday about Uniswap version 3. So I've been speculating about Uniswap V3 quite a bit on this channel. We saw a tweet put out by Uniswap Labs. Well, we did see a tweet from Hayden Adams, the mastermind behind Uniswap. He's kind of been talking about these breadcrumbs, like, I can't wait to talk about Uniswap V3, all this kind of stuff. So he's been really, kind of hyping it up subtly. Yeah, it's been awesome. But we saw this graphic put out here, kind of like, I think it's like a subtle hint about Uni V3. It's pretty cool graphic. So we'll see. We could see a Uni V3 any day now. Yeah, it's got a pretty sweet soundtrack to it too. Yeah, totally. So I think Uniswap V3 could be a pretty big catalyst for the ETH and DeFi space for sure, especially if it runs on Optimistic or some sort of layer 2 scaling solution. I think we'll probably see it launch with Optimism. The fact that getting in there, being able to trade on a decentralized exchange like that quickly and cheaply, I think will be huge. So we also saw some news yesterday It's not directly related to, not exactly related to crypto, but it's somewhat related to crypto. So we saw that Microsoft, there's some talks of Microsoft buying Discord. The reason it's partly related to crypto is because so much communication happens in crypto space on Discord. So it's something you all could be aware of for sure. Another big tech acquisition here. Just gonna go check out the article, read more details on that. But that's something I'm keeping my eye on for sure. Part of this, we're seeing a lot of these other companies get valuations put on them. Another reason this is important is trying to understand how we value like DeFi projects and what they do, or like Web3 projects and what they do compared to other Web 2.0 projects. Like we just saw a valuation, I think, about Stripe come out recently. Maybe it's a different company like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but people are talking about that kind of compared to some of these DeFi projects being undervalued compared to what they do versus what these other platforms do. People use these comparisons all the time. They're talking about, gold and Bitcoin. So sometimes it's really helpful to see these valuations kind of crop up in the real world to get benchmarks for how we value these crypto projects. Now, they're not always perfect comparisons for sure, because they're just not one-to-one, right? It's really hard to value cryptocurrencies in the first place. They don't work like, stocks. They don't work like gold. They don't work like all this other stuff. So, people talk about the market cap of ETH, for example, trying to compare it to some other big tech company or something like that. It's not a great comparison, but sometimes it's helpful to see how valuable this things in the real world to get a benchmark and get an initial reference point. So something I'm going to keep my eye on for sure. So another thing to think about is if, you're into the blockchain space, trying to change your career, get into the blockchain world, I keep seeing more and more and more, activity for job postings. So I'll just show you. I keep seeing this on my screen here. Sorry, I keep seeing my Twitter. I'm seeing more people talk about Solidity jobs, more people talk about needing blockchain developers, seeing some drama about people like saying, don't quit your job to go into full-time crypto, all this kind of stuff. I think some of them are talking about like, traders or people who are just getting into crypto to kind of be your own boss but not really have a job. That's definitely risky for sure. It can't be done. I kind of waited on this the other day, so there's some kind of controversy going on with this, saying like, don't quit your job to go full-time crypto. Some people went to like tweeting this and saying, hey, it's a terrible idea. Like, do go full-time crypto. And there's a ton of opportunity in the blockchain space. If you're in the be your own boss sense, you definitely want to, the safest way to do that is to like ramp up on crypto and get that momentum going before you swap out your other job, for most people, right? But, I was thinking that's in the be your own boss sense. But otherwise, if you're just applying to work at a crypto company, it's about the same as just changing jobs in the sector of the tech industry. You just apply, accept, switch, boom, full-time crypto. But yeah, we're seeing lots of momentum on that front. I'm seeing more and more people land, jobs in the crypto world. As developers, as all kinds of other jobs. So I'm gonna pull up a screenshot here. I got a message. So if you guys are ever curious and you want to hear some more kind of conversations with people who have done that, have changed their careers, you can see those on my YouTube homepage as a student success stories playlist. That's interviews that I've done with people who have like gone through Dapp University and landed jobs, changed their careers. A lot of them didn't have technical backgrounds. They kind of just jumped into the crypto world, put the time in, applied, and they got hired. So that's awesome. I'm going to show you another message that I just got, a similar type of situation. Let me pull it up here. Sorry, I just changed it on the screenshot so I don't reveal the person's email. All right, so I'll put up my screen now. So I got this message. They're saying I was going to tweet this, but this message seemed more appropriate. So I started a crypto developer journey from scratch about a year and a half ago. The content helped me immensely, learning Solidity and React. 3 months ago, I quit my bartending job, right, to work remotely on a DeFi project, Zapp. Okay, absolutely love my work and my new life as a developer. This would have taken much longer if it was not for your amazing content. And this to say, thank you very much. Every time someone asks me how to learn to get crypto development, I always point your way. Awesome. Very, very cool. So yeah, totally. I just want to bring these up because it really helps people see that it is possible to like change your career if you don't have a technical background to get into this industry. And not everybody has to be a developer. You know, there's lots, like basically any job you can think of in the tech world also exists in the, you know, blockchain, crypto, DeFi space. And so, yeah, I bring these up because it's super helpful to see that other people can just have regular jobs that aren't technical at all and change their careers and do this full time. Because I think it's one of the best opportunities in the entire industry to do that because there's so much capital flowing around the space, so much demand, and there's hardly anybody to really satisfy the demand. I mean, people are having a hard time finding like top-notch Solidity developers, and people are still hiring Solidity developers that aren't like, you know, the most senior experienced people. You just got to find those right jobs. All right, so let's see here. So we got some more questions in the chat here. So we got a lot of scammer accusations here. Somebody says, if you're thinking about coding instead of a current job, do it. Code a little every day. It's the greatest thing to happen to me and my family. You got this. Awesome. Yeah, so it sounds like Matthew's got a similar story. Yeah, I didn't have a computer science degree or a technical background before I started coding. I was a programmer before I got into blockchain. But, you know, I taught myself from scratch, you know, with the help of some other people for sure along the way. But yeah, I had no technical background. What I think about Chainlink, I think Chainlink's an awesome project. I don't have any time or any kind of price predictions for it myself, but I think it's an awesome project. Should I buy? Let's see here. Somebody says, if everything crashes, please promise to tell us when you cash out. Yeah, I will tell you 100% if I take money off the table. I have not taken any money off the table yet. I mean, I mostly buy and hold. Like I do a little bit of trading every now and then, like whenever I find some, you know, cool little opportunity to jump on. But I usually don't cash out of my main position to do it. I usually do it with other money that I have sitting around. Sometimes I'll move those things back into my major holdings, but big picture, I don't really actively trade. So blockchain, is it a hugely expanding job market? Absolutely it is. Yeah. Is the new MacBook Air good enough for blockchain? Yep. Someone says, been SECM admin for 3 years and learning your content A+. I'm 51 done boot camp. Awesome. Congratulations. How long have I been a programmer for? That's a good question. Like actual programmer, probably since like 2013, I want to say, something like that. I can't remember to tell you the truth. I have to like think about it. So somebody says blockchain is very complicated, still finding it hard to get started with blockchain development. I would say go to my YouTube homepage and just choose any of the starter courses there. Yeah, that's probably the easiest introduction for sure. Somebody says I've been following and getting good at Solidity. Wanted to launch apps on Flare network coming in June. So the good thing about blockchain is, you know, a lot of the concepts are going to transfer over to other networks. Sometimes the programming languages themselves will transfer over. So you see a lot of chains that are EVM compatible, so they're compatible with Ethereum virtual machine, which basically means that they'll support Solidity. They'll run like Ethereum does, but they're not Ethereum. So like Binance Smart Chain is an example. You can basically take your Solidity smart contracts, compile them, put them on Binance Smart Chain, almost the same way you do with Ethereum. So that's one way where your skills almost directly transfer, your developer tools will transfer. So there will be other blockchains out there that are smart contract platforms that don't support the same programming languages, but you'll still have a lot of them are not launched yet. Okay, so that's like critical to understand. So like the next best thing is to start with what works now, learn those things, and then transfer the skills as you can. Because even if you don't have the same programming languages, like still having created a smart contract and used it on a blockchain, having that knowledge, you'll have the concepts at least, and then it's about transferring the individual hard skills of coding in those programming languages to that new platform. That being said, I would wait until those platforms have launched to see if there's a really compelling reason why you want to do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens. The last thing you want to do is launch a project that nobody uses on the grand scheme of things. All right, so let's see here. Somebody says, been looking into crypto for a while. A couple questions though. What exactly is blockchain and NFTs? A little confusing to me. So that's a good question. So basically, blockchain is what NFTs run on. So it's a world computer. It's a smart contract platform. You can run code on it. It's like everybody uses their computer to share to run the network. So it's a bunch of little computers that make up a big computer. Everybody gets a copy of the code. Everybody gets a copy of all the data. You connect to this network directly. And that's how NFTs work. So basically, you have these digital assets that run on this network that nobody can tamper with because everybody gets a copy of it and can't change it. And yeah, NFTs are called non-fungible tokens. So the quickest way to understand what those are is to understand what fungible tokens are. So fungible just means you can trade all the tokens for one another. Like a $1 you can trade for any other dollar. Doesn't matter which dollar you have. If it was printed 10 years ago, if it was printed yesterday, it's worth the same thing. You can trade them. Fungible tokens are different, more like baseball cards or trading cards where all the cards are worth different amounts. That's what non-fungible means. So that's what non-fungible tokens are. So they're pretty big examples of these are like CryptoPunks have been floating around. These are digital collectibles where all the punks are worth different amounts because of their rarity, their scarcity. That's what gives them value. They run on blockchain. They can't be tampered with, powered by smart contracts. There's lots of other things we can do with NFTs beyond just collectible items. You can do it with concert tickets. You could do it with anything where you have a claim on a digital asset where each of those assets are worth different amounts. You could model with an NFT. Somebody says, thank you for your time and knowledge. I'm new and want to become a dev. What program do you recommend for me to start? I would go to my YouTube homepage and check out any of those free courses. The best way if you want to learn blockchain is to start with blockchain and learn everything else as you go. So jump in, learn those skills, and then build all the other skills around it. Is there a crypto dev equivalent to building a to-do list app? Well, you can build a to-do list. I have one on my YouTube channel. So let me just see if I can go find it right now. So let's, I'll show you which tutorial that is. Just with no today. All right. So it is if you go to my YouTube homepage and you find the free blockchain development courses playlist, I didn't navigate over to it, but you'll scroll down and you will find the to-do list right here, and that's it. But honestly, I think the best introduction, if you're just coding in the programming languages themselves, and it's kind of a funny picture of myself, like frozen there. The best introduction, if you just want to do the Solidity coding language itself, that's like the fast shortcut to understanding DeFi, is to create an ERC20 token. So this is a Ethereum-based token, like any of the big Ethereum-based tokens. In the DeFi tokens like Aave, Synthetics, Uniswap token. Those are all ERC20 tokens. They're powered by smart contracts. ERC20 is a standard. It's kind of a solved problem. Most times you can choose library for ERC20 and then customize it. But the great way to learn the programming language is to just build an ERC20 token from scratch, because it's a solved problem. You can just watch how other people do it. I have step-by-step instructions on how to do it. And then you actually go through and like understand how the blockchain works, how money works, how when you're coding one, because it's one of the central concepts for DeFi in general, is just how does a money work, and you'll learn the programming languages and you'll learn how blockchain works. So is there any other app or web like YouTube built on blockchain? So there have been other projects kind of pop up that are trying to do this type of thing. I do think Web3 is going to be a big trend moving forward. I'm actually going to create a video about that, probably come out later this week. I think it's probably one of the big hype cycles coming up that hasn't run yet, because we've talked about NFTs, we talked about DeFi. I think Web3 is going to be a big one probably soon. So Web3 is basically just using decentralized web infrastructure to rebuild Web 2.0. So a decentralized YouTube could be an example of that. The problem with that, there's two problems. Well, I guess the major problem is incentives. So why do end users actually want to move over to a decentralized YouTube? Well, there are lots of creators who would want to move to a decentralized YouTube so that they wouldn't have any kind of like to basically like flee censorship, right? Like they want an uncensorable YouTube, which this could have, there could be lots of pros and cons with that. Like there could be some, kind of shady stuff on an uncensored YouTube. But the real challenge there is the incentives for people who watch YouTube to go like watch that instead. Why would they do it? So you could think about monetary incentives, like, they get rewarded for watching ads or something, right? There's been lots of experiments. We haven't seen anything really stick, because of course you're still watching this on YouTube. If it really, really worked, then you'd be watching it somewhere else probably. So yeah, I think we'll find ways probably to create some competitors like that. It's hard to know how much market share they would take, or if they would dethrone some of the Web 2.0 competitors. I'll have to wait and see. There's lots of other conversations that come up that like, hey, there's benefit to censorship for like illicit content, like, there could be illegal content, harmful content on an uncensorable YouTube. So one potential answer to that is basically like censorship at the application layer, but not at the protocol layer. So it's essentially, let's say you stored all the content on blockchain itself. You would then have a marketplace for different apps that read from that. And then you could control the censorship at the app level. Either the app would do it for you, or you could say, I want to see this or not see this. And then the app would help filter that out. So you could be uncensored at the protocol layer and then censored at the application layer, whether the app decides to censor it for you, or whether you tell the app what you want to see and don't see. And that, of course, could create competition between different applications to, if you thought one app was really bad, you could just switch to another one. That's the whole idea. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, started today. Like, we've had lots of questions here in the chat about how do I get started as a blockchain developer. You go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. Okay, I'll show you that. That's this playlist here, free blockchain development courses. You can check out into student success stories from people who've changed their careers to become real world blockchain developers with no technical background. If you like those videos, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, you have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding background become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. All right, so that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp.